Hey, welcome. So, if you're getting into management, you're going to learn pretty fast that you can't get anything done without your people. In today's explainer, we're breaking down exactly what drives them, getting right to the core of motivation.
All right, here's what we've got on tap. First, we're going to look at the person behind the job title, because honestly, understanding people is step one. Then, we'll nail down a clear definition of motivation, break down how that process actually works, and finally, we'll clear up the difference between motivation and job satisfaction, two things people mix up all the time.
Okay, let's kick things off with probably the biggest mindset shift for any new manager. You're not managing a human resource, you're leading a human being. And that means you got to embrace their complexity, which we can do by looking at 4 key factors. First up, you have to remember that your team members don't just exist inside your office walls. The person sitting at that desk is also a parent, maybe they're taking night classes, or they're a core part of their community. All these other roles they play outside of work, they shape their values, their perspective, and how they behave on the job. And here's a huge trap for new managers, thinking there's some kind of average employee. There isn't. Every single person is unique. What gets one person fired up to work hard might do absolutely nothing for the person sitting next to them. The whole game is about understanding that individuality. This brings us to a really fundamental idea. Think of it like a balancing act. On one hand, you've got your company goals, the targets, the numbers, the growth. And that's super important, but it can never outweigh what's on the other hand, the dignity of your people. How you get results is just as important as the results themselves. And this right here, this is non-negotiable. It doesn't matter if you're talking to the CEO or the brand new intern, everyone deserves to be treated with respect. That's the bedrock of any healthy, productive workplace, period. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? People bring their whole selves to work. They can't just flip a switch and leave their personal lives, their stress, or their excitement at the door when they clock in. A good manager gets that, and they're ready to lead the whole person, not just the employee part. Okay, so we get it, right? We're leading these complex, whole individuals. The obvious next question is, how do we inspire them to actually do stuff? Well, the answer is motivation. But what does that word really mean in the world of management? Let's check out a few key definitions. Here's one way to look at it, from Gibson. What's cool here is the focus on 2 things, that motivation is an internal thing, a state of mind, and that it's all about the strength of that urge to act. It's not just about doing something, it's about how badly you want to do it. Dubrin's take is way more direct. It just cuts right to the chase. It's all about action. It connects motivation directly to the actual effort you spend. It's not just a feeling, it's the energy you put out there to hit a target. It's the why behind what you do. And this one is absolutely crucial for any manager to understand. Motivation is not a light switch you just flip on. It's not about giving one big rah-rah speech. It's a continuous cycle. It's something you have to keep feeding and paying attention to over and over again. Okay, so let's pull all that together into one simple working definition for us. Just think of motivation as the internal engine, that need or drive inside a person that's pushing them, urging them to take action and move toward a goal. So if motivation is this internal engine, what does that process actually look like in practice? From start to finish. Let's map it out, because if you want to influence it, you first have to understand the steps. Let's walk through this with an example. It all starts with an inner drive. Let's say your need for recognition. That need sparks a behavior, like you decide to work extra hard on a big project. That action is aimed at a goal, maybe getting some public praise from your boss. And finally, reinforcement. If you get that praise, you're probably going to work that hard again. But if you don't, well, the cycle breaks.
And this is a really important distinction to make. Motivation is the internal engine, right? But motivators, those are the external things you as a manager can use. Think of them as the rewards or incentives, like a bonus or a promotion that sharpen that internal drive. They're like the fuel you can add to the engine.
All right, let's clear something up that trips up a lot of new students of management. The difference between being motivated and being satisfied. They are definitely related, but trust me, they are not the same thing at all. So check out this chain of events. A person has a need, which creates a want. That want causes some tension, which then pushes them to take action. And the result of that action is, hopefully, satisfaction.
Now, notice where satisfaction is. It's way at the end of the line. It's that feeling of relief or contentment you get once a want has been fulfilled.
I love this because it just lays it all out so clearly. Think of it like this. Motivation is the journey. It's the drive, the effort, the grind toward the finish line. Satisfaction, that's the destination. It's that feeling of contentment after you've already crossed the line. So, if you remember one thing from this section, remember this. A happy, satisfied employee is not automatically a motivated one. You can have someone who's totally content with their pay and their job, but has zero drive to go the extra mile. And on the flip side, you could have someone who's pretty unhappy with their current job, but is super motivated to perform well so they can get promoted out of it.
So we're going to leave you with this to think about. Understanding all these theories is step one, for sure. But the real art of management, where the magic happens, is when you actually apply it. How are you going to get to know each unique person on your team well enough to figure out what really makes them tick? What are the keys that unlock their inner drive? That's your real challenge as a future leader.